This heat balance sheet is very useful, which shows the different amount of boiler losses in the form of heat and how does it affect the boiler efficiency. So we will discuss and we will show how these effects decreases the boiler efficiency and how we can minimize to increase the boiler efficiency. So this heat balance sheet, there are different type of losses which occurs in the boiler. So first we are considering here the heat balance sheet, and the following losses are applicable to liquid, gas and solid fired boiler. So we are taking, these are applicable for liquid, gas and solid fired boiler. So consider first the L1 which is the loss due to dry flue gas. What amount of the loss is occurring due to dry flue gas, and it is in the form of the sensible heat. Sensible heat means that changes the temperature of the substance. Second one, the loss is L2, and this is the loss due to hydrogen in fuel, H2 in fuel. So fuel is having different element, the carbon, hydrogen, sulfur, etc. So whatever the losses are there due to the presence of hydrogen in the fuel. Third loss is the loss called as L3, and this is the loss due to presence of moisture in the fuel, H2O. So if the moisture is present in the fuel, that will also take some amount of heat. So this is also a loss due to moisture. The fourth loss is called as L4, and this is the loss due to moisture in air. There is a difference between L3 and L4. L3 considered the moisture in the fuel, and L4 consider the loss due to moisture in air. They are the two different substances. Here the substance is air, and here we are taking the substance as the fuel. So L3 is the loss due to moisture in fuel, and L3 considers loss due to moisture in air. L5 or L5 is the loss due to carbon monoxide, because when the combustion will take place, carbon will burn and it will form either carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide indicates about the incomplete combustion. It indicates about the incomplete combustion. Combustion is incomplete. So because of this incomplete combustion, there is also some loss. Then L6 considers the loss due to surface radiation, then convection and other unaccounted losses. So this is the loss L6. There are also some other losses applicable to solid fired boiler in addition to above. So we are considering here only the solid fuel fired boiler, for which case they are the additional losses, and these losses are can be taken as L3, which is the unburned losses in fly ash. There will be the fly ash, and that is produced in case of only the solid fuel fired boiler. That is the carbon. And one more, that is the L8, it is the one word losses in bottom ash. So ash may be, are of two types. One is called as the fly ash, and another is the bottom ash. Both are the forms of the carbon, but they exist there. So they are also the losses. So we will account all the losses, how much amount of losses they are causing and affecting the boiler efficiency. Then considering all the losses, we can find the boiler efficiency. So the boiler efficiency written here by the indirect method can be calculated or taken as 100 minus the summation of all these losses. So we will get the efficiency. So it indicates that these all losses are the negative term. So when we minimize the all losses, definitely the efficiency of the boiler will increase. Now here you can see heat loss due to dry flue gases. Here we are considering dry flue gases. So as we know that the dry flue gases are there, and these losses are because all the dry flue gases are going out through the chimney. So this is the greatest loss in the boiler and can be calculated with the following formula. So that is the L1 is equal to M into Cp into Tf minus Ta upon GCB of fuel into 100. Here you can see L1 is given in because we are multiplying 100. So L1 is the percentage heat loss due to dry flue gas. M, which is the mass of dry flue gas in kg per kg of fuel, which is equal to, so how we will calculate or take the mass M. So it is combustion of products from fuel, that is CO2 plus SO2 plus nitrogen in the fuel plus nitrogen actual mass of air supplied because we are supplying air. So nitrogen also existing in the air, so it is also be considered, plus O2 in the flue gas, whatever the amount of O2. H2O or water vapor in the flue gas should not be considered. Here in this case, we do not consider this H2O or water vapor which is present in the flue gas. Then what is Cp? Cp is the specific heat of flue gas in kilocalorie per kg. Tf, this Tf. So Tf is the flue gas temperature and Ta is the atmospheric temperature. So if we are knowing all these terms, then we can calculate the L1 loss, which is the greatest loss for the boiler, and it is the heat loss due to dry flue gas. Second is heat loss due to evaporation of water. When the water will get heat, it will be evaporated. So how this loss occurs? So it is the loss due to evaporation of water formed due to H2 in the fuel. So because as we know that we supply the fuel in the furnace or in the combustion chamber, and if the fuel is containing H2 in it, definitely it will react with the oxygen, it will form the water and water will evaporate. So this water will also take some amount of heat. So the combustion of hydrogen causes a heat loss because the product of combustion is water, and this water is converted into steam, and this carries the heat in the form of the latent heat because water will change its phase from the liquid phase to vapor phase. So definitely it will take heat in the form of the latent heat. Then this is the second loss considered as the L2, and it is given by this formula: L equal to 9 into H2 into 584 plus Cp into Tf minus Ta upon GCB of fuel into 100. GCB actually it is the gross calorific value of fuel. So H2 here is the kg of hydrogen present in fuel on 1 kg basis or per kg basis. Cp again it is the same specific heat of the superheated steam in kilocalorie per kg centigrade, and Tf is the here flue gas temperature. Here the very important term, flue gas is the temperature of the flue gas. Next, so next loss is heat loss due to moisture present in fuel. Moisture. So if the moisture presents in fuel, then this moisture entering the boiler with the fuel leaves as a superheated vapor. So if we are in the fuel, which the fuel is the moisture fuel or it is not completely dry, then it is having some moisture or water in it, and when this fuel will burn, the water will be converted to the steam, and then it will form the superheated steam. So this moisture loss is made up of the sensible heat to bring the moisture to the boiling point. The sensible, it will take sensible heat because the water will be converted to the vapor. The latent heat of evaporation of the moisture and the superheated heat required to bring this steam to the temperature of exhaust gas. So we are seeing here, if the water is present or moisture is present in the fuel, first it will get heat in the form of the sensible heat, so its temperature will rise up to its boiling point. Then it will take further heat in the form of the latent heat for the evaporation, and then it will take the heat in the form of the sensor heat again, or the super, we can say superheat, to superheat it up to the temperature of the flue gases. So in this way, this losses occurs if the moisture present in the fuel, and this loss is the third loss given as L3. So given by this formula, m into 584 plus Cp in bracket Tf minus Ta upon GCV, gross calorific value of fuel, into 100. Here you can say the m is equal to kg of moisture in fuel in per kg basis. Cp is the specific heat of superheated steam. Here we take the Cp is the specific heat of superheated steam. Tf is the flue gas temperature. This is the Tf. Ta is the ambient air temperature, and 584 is the latent heat corresponding to partial pressure of water vapor. So by using this formula, we can find or calculate the loss L3, which is the heat loss due to moisture. Now next we are going to consider heat loss due to incomplete combustion. This is the incomplete combustion. So, as we know that products formed by incomplete combustion could be mixed with oxygen and burned again with the further release of energy. As the products formed by incomplete combustion, these will be mixed with oxygen and burn again with more oxygen, again they will burn. Such products include carbon monoxide, H2, and various hydrocarbons, and are generally found in the flue gas of the boiler. So, if there is a formation of either carbon monoxide, or there may be the hydrogen, or maybe other hydrocarbons, they are normally found in the flue gas, and because of incomplete combustion, they will further take heat or more heat, and the energy generated will be smaller. So, carbon monoxide CO is only the gas whose concentration can be determined conveniently in a boiler plant test. So this is the loss, fifth loss. So L5 can be written as percentage carbon monoxide into C upon percentage CO plus percentage CO2 into 5744 upon GCV of fuel into 100. So this is the actually heat loss due to partial conversion of C to CO, and CO, what we are taking, CO is the volume of CO in flue gas leaving economizer. Here we will take the volume. CO is the volume of the CO in flue gas. CO2 is the actual volume of CO2 in flue gas. We will take whatever the amount of CO2, whatever the amount of CO, as well as carbon content per kg of fuel. Also, when CO is obtained in ppm, parts per million during the flue gas, then we also can find MCO is equal to CO in ppm into 10 to the power minus 6 into mf into 28. mf is the fuel consumption in a kg per hour, and this L5 equal to MCO into 5744. So heat loss due to partial combustion of carbon. So we can also take this relation. The next one is the heat loss due to radiation and convection. From the boiler, there are different units, and the flue gases passes and through the different units, and because the high heat occurs, so the temperature in the different units rise, like superheater, as well as from the furnace, evaporator, and different other convective evaporator, radiant evaporator, etc. The temperature rises, and from these units they also radiate heat to the outside surrounding. So there are also losses due to radiation as well as convection. So the other heat losses from a boiler consist of the loss of heat by radiation. One is the radiation, and another is the convection. So radiation is the heat loss from the different substance of the elements or the objects which doesn't require any medium, and in the convection the heat loss occurs from some surface, The hot substance will give heat to some surface, it will heat it, and then from the other side of that surface or the object, the some cold fluid will take heat, so it is known as the convection. So by the radiation as well as convection, there are the heat losses, and they the losses because of the surrounding work house. So normally the surface loss and other unaccounted losses is assumed based on the type and size of the boiler. What type of boiler we are using, depending upon that we can count or we can take this percentage. So for industrial fire tube or packaged boiler, the losses are 1.5 to 2.5% because of the radiation and convection. If we are using industrial water tube boiler, the losses are 2 to 3%. For water tube boiler, we are seeing that percentage will slightly increase. And for the power station boiler, these losses are 0.4 to 1%. However, it can be calculated if the surface area of the boiler and the surface temperature are known. If we are knowing these two values, the surface area of the boiler as well as surface temperature, we can calculate. So this loss due to convection and radiation is taken as L6. This L6 is equal to 0.548 into Ts to Ts upon 55.55 to the whole to the power 4 minus Ta upon 55.55 whole to the power 4 plus 1.957 into Ts minus Ta whole to the power 1.25 into the square root of this term 196.85 Vm plus 68.9 divided by 68.9. Here radiation loss in watts per square meter, which is the L6 we are going to find out. Vm is the wind velocity in meter per second. Ts is the surface temperature. This is the Ts, and Ta is the ambient temperature. So if we are knowing all these values, we can calculate this L6. Next, heat loss due to unburned carbon. If the carbon is present, but it is unburned, definitely it will cause the loss of the fuel, which will not give any energy. So heat loss due to unburned carbon in fly ash and the bottom ash. We use two types of acid here: fly ash as well as the bottom ash. So fly ash is small fine particles. This is flying uh, surrounding the furnace, in the furnace as well as the atmosphere, and bottom ash, which goes down because of the heavier particles. A small amount of carbon will be left in the ash, and this constitutes a loss of potential heat loss in the fuel. To assess these heat losses, the ash must be analyzed for carbon content. Whatever the amount the carbon is having, the quality of ash produced per unit of fuel is also be to known. So heat loss due to unburned fly ash. Heat loss due to unburned in fly ash. Whatever the amount of fuel is unburned in fly ash, this is loss is L7. So total ash collected per kg of fuel burned into gross calorific value of fly ash divided by gross calorific value of fuel into 100. So we can find this heat loss due to unburned and fly ash L7. Then L8, which indicates the heat loss due to unburned in bottom ash. It is also in percentage. So total ash collected per kg of fuel into gross calorific value of bottom ash divided by gross calorific value of fuel into 100. So this will give the heat loss due to unburned in the bottom ash. So we can find these losses L7 and L8 also due to unburned carbon. Next, finally, we'll go to prepare a heat balance sheet. So heat balance sheet, this is also called as the boiler heat balance sheet. So here in the we are having mainly the three columns. One is the input output parameter, then the unit is kilocalorie per kg fuel, and whatever the percentage loss. So heat input in fuel. So we are using some fuel, some amount of fuel. Suppose we are taking per kg of fuel. Then for per kg fuel, whatever the amount of heat we are getting theoretically, or we can say or the ideal case, this percentage is the 100%. This amount of heat is expected to be taken or considered. So this is percentage 100%. Now we will consider, or we will take into account different types of heat losses in the boiler. So first loss is the dry flue gas loss. So we can consider, and we will write its percentage here. The percentage, sorry, the amount of dry flue gas loss here, and we will write here what is percentage. Then in the second point, loss due to hydrogen fuel, we will calculate as per the formula we have shown earlier. We will write whatever the amount of loss here and whatever its percentage. Similarly, loss due to moisture and fuel, we will calculate it and write its percentage here, and loss due to moisture in air. So this is we will write amount and then again its percentage. Then partial combustion of C2CO, because of the incomplete combustion. So we will write here the amount in kilocalorie per kg fuel and then its percentage. Then the surface losses, this is the calculation, and the percentage. Loss due to unburdened fly ash as well as bottom ash. We will also write these two amounts as well as their percentage. So what we do here, if we so here we will write the total losses here and the total percentage, the total loss here. So in these two columns, and to find the boiler efficiency, so 100% minus all the losses will give us the boiler efficiency percentage, efficiency of boiler. In this way you can find the boiler efficiency. Thank you.